Just a little bit unfortunate. Well, same thing sort of happened for Chris. He had a very bad map. Decided not to play it. Anyway, on the bright side, the restarts are over. That means every single map is going to be played from now on. And we do have to be fair here. Bugged, well, even if you consider that map to be bugged, it's very, very rare to see a bugged map on Arabia, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, a lot of these sort of, when we see different tournaments that have custom map packs and community-made maps, there's often a lot of problems with like resource generation and things. But in Arabia, you're right. I mean, you rarely see a truly bugged map. And, you know, even in this situation, it wasn't technically bugged, but yeah, just unlucky, really unlucky. But hey, they both had their fair share of bad luck now, and this game's going to be no
all
more
skill
restarts.
from now on. All skill.
Yeah, all skill. Exactly.
No luck, all skill from now on. And we've got 20 seconds to go. It's going to be game 3. It's going to be Britons against Chinese. And another point that I would like to make is that players are, of course, not allowed to change the civilizations once they call the restart, because that would be unfair. They could try to choose a counter civilization to his opponent. So because of that, we don't allow players to choose another civilization. And 20 seconds to go. It's going to be game 3. It's going to be Chinese against Britons. Chris is going to be going for the Chinese, and Chinese are just such a hard start in my opinion. That's just because of that. I would never choose Chinese, but of course I'm a noob. These guys are the best of the Age of Empires competitive scene. And there he goes once more. A nice start here for Chris, an even better start for Chris this time around. He can see his 4 sheep right away. That means he's going to start collecting that sheep even before Loom is ready. Nice start
Fantastic.
here for Chris. And the wood is in a very nice spot. I'm trying to find the gold. Gold at the back. It's sort of at the bottom of a hill. Not a very good placement, but still at the back, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not ideal. It's, you know, you can't get very good saturation on a gold like that because it's against the edge of the map and it's on a real awkward hill. But hey, at least it's not going to be super easy for DauT to raid. But yeah, like you say, a great start for Chris. It's so important to find those sheep quickly. So important to start taking them as fast as possible. And it doesn't look like Chris has had any town center downtime whatsoever. And that's huge. He's already a villager ahead now. And it looks like it's going to stay that way as well, which is just fantastic for Chris so far.
Yeah, and do keep in mind, he's got Loom already, so in fact, that's pretty much 2 villagers ahead. But apparently, what are the sheep for DauT? Where are the sheep? He still didn't find them. And, well, this is just karma for him. This is just karma for him. We've got a pause. You've got a pause too?
Yeah, a little pause right here. Strange, because DauT, he's got a sheep on the left-hand side. He's not sent it to the town center. Now he's milling the berries. He's going to have to take them. But yeah, he's found the sheep up on the front.
Oh boy.
And where are his others?
No, yeah, they were here at the top of his base. They were a little bit far away. Yeah, I've got to give him that. It wasn't too close.
Oh, no. He has got more sheep. Look over way out to the west, behind the wood line and everything. They're right there.
The other ones too. Yep, I can see them too.
That's so far away, man.
But unfortunately for him, Chris is right there with his cow. He should be able to spot the boar. I'm not sure. Did he see the boar? No, he missed the boar by a tiny bit. And this is Chris trying to pay back time for DauT for what he did last game. Fortunately for DauT here, Chris was not able to spot a boar. But this is just as hard as it gets, right? When you consider that DauT had such a hard start, he wasn't able to find a sheep. Well, what's happening?
What the hell are those sheep placements, though? I mean, they're so far from DauT's TC. More likely that Chris is going to find them at this rate. It's not good at all for DauT. And obviously, you know, since he started on the berries here, he's now behind because berries are the slowest source of food income for villagers to gather. Meanwhile, Chris, no downtime at all. He's already got the first boar in, and DauT's just having a horrible time here. A horrible time.
Very, very, very rough start for him here. He might as well lose that sheep right there. Chris apparently just missed it. He won't miss it this time around. He's going to be losing more and more sheep. There he goes. Such a rough start here for DauT. And do keep in mind that Chris had such a nice start with Chinese. And if you do manage to pull that off, that's going to give you such a nice advantage. And as you can see here, it's 2 villager advantage for Chris at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at like 5 minutes of game time, 2 villager advantage, and Loom. Chris is unbelievably far ahead. I mean, the earlier in the game, the more valuable villagers are. So,
Oh
I mean, a
boy.
2 villager difference at an hour of game time, it's nothing. But a 2 villager difference within 5 minutes is huge. If we just look, I don't know which version of the spectator dashboard you're using, but if you have the one with the graphs, and look at the graphs for the resources gathered, and you just see how much of a difference this is starting to make.
I did have it, but apparently I have it somewhere else. Anyway, Chris is ready to try to block the villager for
Nice
DauT.
one.
This time around, I don't think it's going to be happening. I do wonder, why didn't he just try to get the war? And DauT could actually just gather villagers. Well, he didn't do that. He could just garrison the villagers. He waited a little bit too long. Might as well have taken the scout from Chris. I do wonder, why didn't Chris just steal the boar? Probably he doesn't feel too comfortable. Because people just say it's easy to steal a boar. It's not that easy when you've got to micro your economy at the same time.
Yeah, true. I don't know. Maybe he feels like, okay, DauT's had a rough start. Let me just give him this little, yeah.
Gentleman's
break
agreement.
Yeah,
Gentleman's
yes.
agreement, as we just mentioned
Sort
before.
of like that. But I want to just point out at this point that Chris is like 200 food and about 150 wood ahead in terms of total resources gathered at this stage. In fact,
It's a huge deal.
I'd say even more. I'd say Chris is nearly 400 food in the lead at this stage, and this is such a huge advantage. You just don't normally see this kind of an advantage so early on. But DauT getting a little screwed by his map. Hopefully he can start to bring it back a little bit. But we should really take a look at DauT's map in terms of, what's his wood situation like, what's his gold situation like.
Yeah, I guess the wood is a nice spot. It's very close to his TC. Having those houses there is really not ideal, considering it might block the path of the villagers in case they need to go back to the TC. The gold is very close to his TC as well. I guess the problem is that they are both forward. But considering he could try to palisade a little bit there between the wood forest and between the stone, I guess the map is not too bad, Zach.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. The downside for DauT in this situation is that he's got hills all the way around the front, yeah. And that means that, he's either going to have to hold really far forwards, or he's going to have to defend at the bottom of a hill, and that's just not ideal. So, yeah, at the moment, Chris, a big advantage. He's going up nearly a minute faster to the feudal age, 23 populations, so that's 22 villagers, and he may go straight into archers here then, in that case.
I was wondering what
no,
exactly...
he's not on gold. He's not on gold.
I was wondering what exactly is he going to go for. Probably looking like scouts, in fact. Something we don't see every day. Going for scouts is Chinese, but you can see the gold has still got no villager in it, so certainly not archers. Guess we're gonna find out soon enough. What is that? It's an archery range. I forgot to say I'm incredibly confused by this.
I mean, it kind of, I don't know, I think he might send villagers out there now. Maybe he's just going to go straight into, oh no, cancelling the range.
He cancelled it.
Changing his mind. He doesn't know what he wants to do.
What are you gonna do, Chris?
Man.
What are you gonna do?
Make a decision, Chris.
Yeah, decide yourself, sir. No, archery. I guess he didn't want to show. I think this is what it is. He didn't want to show DauT what he's gonna be doing, right? He knew his scout was very close, so he deleted the archery range before it started being constructed. I guess I like this.
He's a genius. He's a genius. He's so good at this game. Like, it's the level of complexity and depth that is just so advanced. You can't even think about that,
Right, I feel you, but by doing that, he's delayed himself quite a lot, right? And his archery range is going to go up at roughly the same time as DauT's one, and DauT is Brits. I don't know. What is Chris going to go here? He's going to go for skirms, of course, because he does not have anybody on golds. I'm a little bit puzzled by Chris' strategy here.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's gonna have to go for some skirms. It looks like though he's walling up a little bit here. Maybe he's gonna play defensively again. Put some defensive skirmishes out. But right now he's
not
spending
doing
all
anything.
of his wood. He's spending all of his wood on walls. He's not making any units. I think he thinks he's got a really big time advantage here, and he'd be right, to be honest. DauT's not exactly pushing out with a bunch of army. In fact, DauT's making skirmishes as well. So DauT's thinking that, hey, I need to play defensively. Where's Chris at? He's gonna be here any minute. And Chris is taking his time.
Yeah, you know what? I think this is just straight FC. There's one skirmisher, and that's the first military unit here from Chris. Chris feeling really confident here. He knows this gold is in a very good spot. He's doing the exact same walls that it would have done here. That gold at the left side. I think this is a naked FC. A naked FC right here by Chris, I think.
Maybe. I don't understand why he wouldn't go up with more villagers, though. I mean, he's going to add a second range right now. It's interesting, but yeah, he's going to send some villas out to gold. He can do this. He could do a fast castle, but he wants to make sure, of course, got enough army to defend from any aggression that DauT sends his way. And I think, this is kind of interesting. Chris could have very easily gone for scouts and done a lot of damage, because obviously DauT going straight into skirms here, that would have been pretty huge. But no, he's going to play it from the Castle Age by the looks of things, as his food starts to get into surplus now, and the gold's going to start going up as he has those 5 villages out on the gold mine on the left-hand side.
Yeah, apparently he's only now doing his second archery range. The blacksmith is on the way. Yeah, pretty much looking to me like a sort of a fast castle, even if it's not a naked fast castle as I mentioned before. He does have a couple of military units, 2 skirmishers, not too much. Anyway, he's sending forward his count to try to understand what is DauT doing. DauT himself is not really investing too much in military here, Zach. He only made a couple of skirmishers, as you just mentioned before. Well, a couple, those are quite a lot, in fact. But he only had 1 archery range. He's gonna be later than Chris, that's for sure. He has such a rough start, but I'm not sure how I feel about Chris giving DauT so much time here.
I don't know though, because I mean, obviously Chris doesn't know what DauT is doing. He doesn't know that he's going for a lot of skirms right now. But this is the thing: with DauT going for so many skirms, he's going to have really no chance of doing much eco damage to Chris. Even if he breaks down a wall, skirmishers, they're not really going to be villager killers. They're just going to do nothing essentially. So yeah, DauT's got this like army. He's going to be moving out a little bit, but I don't think he's going to do much damage. And I think Chris can comfortably reach the Castle Age here with no trouble whatsoever. He's adding a 3rd range though. I think this is interesting because we were saying earlier on that Chris could go for knights, he could go for archers or whatever. I almost feel like knights would be a great choice for Chris in this game, but at the moment he's just throwing out the skirms, and maybe we're going to see full skirms. Nothing but skirms.
That would come close to a Byzantine war, as we just hoped at the beginning of the series. Who knows? Anyway, DauT gonna go moving in there through that oasis. He's got the +1. It's perfect, as much of a perfect position as you could get. Oh, going back, unfortunately for him here. I guess by this time Chris could have spotted that. I don't think he did. Anyway, DauT certainly needs to keep away from the army of Chris. Chris seems to be going for full skirmishers, just as you said. He's going to go for full skirmishers.
He's only got 4 villages on gold, so it is 100% full skirms. He's got the gold so he can do the upgrades, and that's it, I think. And this is funny because I'm pretty sure he's done this before.
No, let's see how will that play out for
a long time ago.
There it is. That's the Castle Age reached here by Chris. We're hoping to see the Elite Skirmisher upgrade. There it is, the +2. Well, seems like he's lacking the food for that. If I'm not... Yeah, he went for Bowsoft first. That means no +2 for him right now. Is he going to be dropping another TC? Does not have the wood for that, but I think he wants to make a TC as soon as possible. I do like that decision, and he of course knows that DauT is going to be going for archers. There's just nothing else that the Brits is going to do, right? So maybe a nice surprise here.
I think that DauT should just throw down a stable, start making some knights anyway. It's like the civilizations have just reversed. Who knows what's going on? But Chris moving out with those elite skirms right now. Obviously, no bodkin arrow just yet. That should be coming up very, very soon. But DauT knows what's going on now. He sees all these elite skirmishers. He's probably got a very good idea of what's going down. He needs to react. He needs to make a play. And he needs to say, you know what, let's just... Through the meta game. Let's just actually play the game right now, and let's just improvise a little bit.
DauT clicking out to Castle Age. He's still so far away from Chris. On the bright side is that he's completely walled, and there's, I guess there's an easy place here for Chris to try to break in with those skirmishes from the left side. There's a lot of palisades. The right side seems to be very easily brokeable as well, so to say. And I'm not sure. He does not seem to be wanting to drop a stable, and there's an opening here! There's an opening here in DauT's map. I'm not sure. He didn't see this. I'm 100% sure he did not see this. Can you see the scout? He cannot see the scout either.
Oh,
this is horrible. This is horrible for DauT. Chris is just going to move in.
Opening though.
Yep, there's an
actually.
Yeah. I saw the scout moving in. I saw it moving in.
Okay.
DauT is not going to be happy about this. He's not going to be happy about this.
There's
always a hole. And how will he?
God.
Yeah, now that's going to be a couple of villagers going down. And just imagine if those were archers. There goes the first one. There goes the second, third one on the way.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
It doesn't matter if they're not archers. He's got bodkin arrow and elite skirmisher now, and he's got so many of them. This is massive. Where's DauT's army? It's nowhere in sight. It's on the other side of the map at this point. Chris, he can go huge. He can do so much damage. This is awesome.
This is just incredible. So unlucky here for DauT. I guess he needs to start moving his villagers away. The villager advantage for Chris is just huge at this point. He's got a second TC as well. A third TC on the way. Boy, things are not looking fun. Things are not looking good for DauT this time around.
DauT needs to bite the bullet and actually go for some knights right now. This is, or a siege workship.
A siege workshop, yeah. Siege workshop. Yeah. I would rather do that, in fact. Yeah, looks like that is what he's going to do.
Crossbow coming up, and he needs to kind of counterattack with the crossbow or something, but I feel like, honestly, he's gonna get so screwed by these skirmishes.
Oh, and he can't see the TC. He can't see the TC. Now he's gonna lose his army. If Chris actually sees this, Chris is not watching it either. None of the players is watching, and I guess this is quite awkward to see. There he goes, Chris, the first one to spot it. And he's gonna move his villagers inside, but he's still losing so many villagers at home. Trying to drop that house. That's actually a nice trap here. The TC has got a lot of villagers inside, but these are skirmishers. They can tank so much damage.
Exactly, they tank so well, and right now, yeah, DauT is hurting. He's really hurting. 26 villagers versus 43 from Chris. Chris has actually the smaller military right now. DauT, surprisingly, has a much larger military at this stage as he continues to raid. But you've got to remember, Chris has those extra town centers.
What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? He just chose to run through the TC. This guy's got courage. I do like that. He was able to get a couple of the villagers. He seems to be in a nice spot now. But do keep in mind, those are elite skirmishes. Not really much he can do. I'm not sure that was good. But on the left side, Zach, a very nice raid at the same time.
Lovely. Yeah, this is what we were seeing in the first game. DauT splitting his army up, attacking on multiple fronts, and he's picked off so many villagers right there, closing the villager gap a little bit, but Chris still has an additional 11 villagers at this stage. He's also retaken the military lead now, but now we have to watch those skirmishes in the back. There is
that's a nice shot! There goes the nice shot. He needs to make sure he's not going to lose the mangonel to that scout. There it goes. The scout is gone. Those skirmishers are going to die anytime soon. Well, DauT is doing it. DauT is doing what he had to. That's an awesome second shot right there. The skirmishers are gone. Still huge economic advantage for Chris. That's for sure. The military, the army that he's got on DauT's base, on Chris's base is going to be, it needs to move away, of course, because there are too many skirmishers. I don't know, Zach. If there was any chance for DauT, he did what he had to do.
Yeah, I mean, that was a reasonable defense with the mangonels for sure. He took so many villager losses though that it's going to be difficult to really come back from that. Right now, I think, he's going to have to just accept the one town center and just go full aggression at the moment because, he can't afford a second TC even if he wanted it since he doesn't have the stone, because he put those 2 towers up, and he's just going to have to go for it now. I think full aggression, just go ham. Why not?
Yeah, this is the dilemma, right? What do I do now? If I was DauT, what do I do now? If I try to pull him, I'm gonna be behind Chris. There's just no way. He's got 3 TCs, I've got 1 TC. But if I try to push and I don't really do any kind of decent damage, I'm gonna be GG. So it's a little bit of dilemma here, but it looks like DauT is choosing to go aggressive. He's bringing in a second mangonel as far as I can see. There's a villager there from Chris trying to do something funny. No, sir, it's not gonna happen for you.
Not today, and yeah, I think it's interesting because, Chris here going with these, full skirmishes, it's interesting. But DauT, since he's the Britons, he gets the additional range, and with a bit of micro, elite skirmishes aren't too much trouble for Briton crossbows because they can just stay out of range when microed really well, and they can still get the win. But still, with the skirmishes in here surrounding DauT's army, DauT's going to take some big losses, and even the mangonel at the back right now getting swamped in skirmishes. I'm liking this a lot.
Yeah, I think DauT shouldn't really have tried to engage, at least not in front of his mangonel. I would just have chosen to go behind his mangonel. Easy to say, of course, very easy to say. Chris was trying to micro against the mangonel. Do keep in mind that the skirmishers need so many hits in order to take down a mangonel. That was a nice uphill shot. Doesn't quite do the job. He needs to go back with his army. It's just looking very, very grim for DauT here.
He's got another mangonel. I mean, this is the thing. Mangonels can be real game changers. If you get a couple of really good mangonel shots, it can really turn the pace of the game. But this is the thing. He's fighting versus skirmishers. These guys costing just food and gold. Food and wood even. It's not like a group of crossbows, which is really expensive. When you lose a group of crossbows to a mangonel, that's huge. But Chris is just pumping out the skirmishers. It's no problem.
3 TCs for Chris. As far as I can see, it's only two TCs now from DauT. This fight could be...
Yeah, he's got the second.
Yeah, this fight could be important. Apparently, he's gonna lose the mangonel. Unfortunate for him, that shot does not land what it was supposed to, and was a little bit unfortunate for him. He does have one more mangonel, but the villager advantage for Chris is so huge at this point. I guess Chris is gonna try to be going aggressive himself. He's got a mangonel there. He's got a villager. I'm assuming that it's gonna be a siege workshop in front of DauT base as well.
The micro for for Chris has been really good. He's taken down 2 mangonels now with skirmishers alone, and like you say, he's got his own mangonel coming in. So bye DauT. That's 3 mangonels down for DauT right now, and really this is just looking like it's going downhill. We've nearly 1,000-point score lead for Chris, and like you say, he's still got that eco lead. He's still got the military lead, and it's just growing at this stage because DauT just can't seem to make the trades with this military.
Yeah, I think interesting enough, and this is really good to see in this new overlay, you can see the trained units, right? You can see that DauT actually trained a lot less units than Chris did, but if you take a look at the kill-death ratio, those are pretty much similar. So I think DauT has been doing with his army what he could, right? He's not taking too many bad fights. I think he's doing a nice job with that, but it's just the economy. It's just too far behind for him to try to be competitive. He's got a 3rd TC by now. He's got a 3rd TC by now, but it's just too far behind. It's almost 20 villagers by now.
You're right. Like, obviously DauT has trained less units and the KD is similar, but you have to remember what units have been trained here. Chris, it's skirmishers. DauT, it's crossbows and a lot of mangonels, which he's lost. So I think Chris has probably got better value for money out of his army, even if the trades are very similar in total number of kills and deaths. That's how I feel about it.
It looks like the 4th TC is going to go up here for DauT. He knows he needs to make as many TCs as possible. Nice job there, sniping at the mangonel. Do keep in mind, Britons do get cheaper TCs, not as much when it comes to stone, but as it comes to wood, those are a little bit cheaper. He's got a lot of mangonels here, but very interesting switch. As far as I can see, Chris is now switching to cavalry, and this could be really hard for DauT because that means those mangonels are not going to be any effective against cavalry, and Chris has got a very nice amount of knights here. He's going to be moving in with those. It's just gonna get worse with DauT here, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, those knights are going to do some serious work at the back. They've got bloodlines, they've got +2 defense. He should be able to clean up both of these mangonels. This is very costly for DauT right now, and Chris is looking so strong. Like we said, the 4th TC for DauT came up. He's trying to close the villager gap, but Chris has just had such a lead for so long that he has these extra resources in the bank. He can afford now to do these knights, and he's got more versatility on his hands at the moment as well.
Right, that's where picking Chinese is such an interesting choice, right? You could just swap your army and still have an incredibly strong unit composition. You're not a one-army civ like the Brits, or I mean, you of course expect to see Brits going for archers. You can go for knights, but those are not nearly as strong as the Chinese one. And you can see DauT needs to just to leave that university. He was trying to do ballistics, probably. But Chris doing a really nice job. I guess DauT is doing a nice job himself. Look at the villager advantage for Chris is not there anymore. So apparently Chris idling his TCs a little bit too much because he's not really going up. Yeah, he's still not going up. He's very close to do that. But nice job here by DauT.
Yeah, DauT closing the gap with Vills slightly, but look at this on the left side. Chris gonna go very high aggression now.
It's just
he's
a slaughter.
Making knights, making like double stable knights. He's got 3 skirms coming out at a time. He's got a siege workshop coming forward, so he's gonna target the TC on the left. DauT has a lot of villager idle time. There's about more than I can't even see how many idols he's got right now, but it's a lot of idols as they're all sitting inside of those
16,
TCs.
17, almost 18.
Yeah. Not very good at all. So, I mean, what does it matter if he's closed the villager gap if they're not working anyway? And DauT now going to lose this TC on the left side. It's almost certain, as those knights there just going to be able to clean up. And the siege, of course, will take down the town center. Looking very bad for DauT. I think Chris will probably go ahead and take the win very shortly. And, yeah, I don't think there's much more to say than that right now.
Yeah, so many villagers are going to go down on that TC. Look how many villagers on that. There's absolutely no salvation for those guys. I guess Chris was trying to do a nice thing here. He just managed to go in with a couple of knights. DauT was sort of expecting those, so he got 2 or 3 right before they came in, but still doing the damage, still killing a couple of villagers left and right, at the front as well, at the back. So Chris pretty much doing now what DauT is doing the whole time, right? Just trying to attack at multiple spots, make sure that DauT is going to be overwhelmed. If that castle goes up, that can buy him a little bit more time, but it's just a matter of time.
Well, DauT is not out just yet. I mean, he's trying for that castle, and you know, if he gets that castle up, okay, that's great. It's going to save a little bit of his gold, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I think Chris can very easily target this town center on the right side and knock DauT back down to 2 town centers. DauT, though, finishes ballistics right before that university goes down, which is kind of nice. But it's just the small things at this stage. DauT needs to find the positives because everything outside of his base is looking very scary at the moment.
Yeah, Chris knows he needs to move into another spot, try to kill a couple more villagers. Taking a look at the military numbers, it's just not pretty here for DauT. He's got 20 military units against 40 from Chris. It's a huge difference. And do keep in mind, a couple of those military units from Chris are skirmishers, and those guys are so good when it comes to fighting against archers. And do keep in mind, 2 rams on the way as well, and ranged units just struggle too much. And I guess that's going to be a castle there from Chris, and that's just a GG move. If that's indeed a castle, well, let me take a look at the economy for Chris. No, it's not a castle. I'm not sure what he's doing there with those villagers. I think he's waiting for a castle.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, on this right side, this TC is going to go down for sure. On the left side, though, look, he's got a couple of mangonels over there just on their own. He's going to break the wall and go for the villagers on the gold, but it's GG for
There's
DauT.
just nothing he can do. And what can we say? It was just a very rough start here for DauT. It sort of breaks my heart to see a game go down like this, where there was not much that he could do. It was just a very, very rough start. He was not able to find his sheep at the very beginning. He almost lost a villager because Chris was trying to be a little bit funny there, and just a very, very hard game here for DauT. Unfortunately, it goes down like this. He did what he could do, in my opinion, and at some point it was looking like he could sort of even things out a little bit, but Chris just had too much of an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Chris, he had that villager advantage for such a long time that even though DauT caught up in villager count, at that point, Chris had already done the boom. DauT was just getting those TCs rolling, he was just catching up in villagers, and then suddenly Chris switches into like double stable, 3 archery range.
Bam!
You know, and then that's it. I mean, what's DauT gonna do? He's just invested all those resources into catching up in villagers that he doesn't have an army. He doesn't have anything to defend that huge aggression. And yeah, like Chris, like you said, playing as the Chinese, he could be more versatile. And you know, DauT, if he'd have gone to knights, which, you know, it could have been an option, even though the Britons don't have great knights, due to the fact that Chris had so many skirms, you have to remember, Chris could have very easily thrown in some camels, and it's just, Chris has all the counters, he has all the tricks up his sleeve, and yeah, GG for Chris. It was his game, and I think it's been his game for a long while as well.
Yeah, it's we really need to point out, but even though he had such a huge lead at the beginning, it's really not easy to keep that lead when you're playing against somebody like DauT, right? These guys are just so skilled, they sort of predict each other. They sort of know what is the opponent going to do. So I guess doing the skirmishers was such a nice move by Chris, and then switching to knights just